I bow to the divinity and all my reflections before me. Appreciate your presence and your attention. It's been a minute, but we back. Welcome to Citi Buddha, the official guided meditation page of your boy Citi Buddha. If you're new to this page, if you're new to me on social media, I would definitely advise you to dig into my content to see why I'm doing a video, really a technique, a sadhana, which means spiritual practice, devoted to decontrol, right? This is the YouTube space, so I can't be as frivolous with my language as I often am on my Instagram. I could be myself over there a little bit more. I'm still myself here. I just got to curb the language, and I also know some of y'all may be watching these videos, kids in the background. I get it. I got a son of my own. So I do my best when me and my wife do our podcast, which we will also be getting back to. We do our best not to curse. So for lack of a better term, on Instagram, we will insert the eggplant emoji. So when I say D, I mean the ability for men to keep their sexual appetite under control. I've done a lot of work on my social media pages to just wave the flag for men who have the ability or have garnered the ability, who have healed enough to access the ability and the skill set of being able to keep our sexual appetite under control. Whether that's for the end goal of being able to be faithful or finally become faithful to a woman we love, whether it's just to get our life in order. Me personally, I didn't get on this journey until everything hit the fan, if you will. SHIT hit the fan. And, kidney disease, blindness in my left eye, fired from 5 straight jobs, 13-year relationship disintegrated. I had no ability to have a life outside of just healing in my own home, waiting for my vision to come back. And during that period is when I really tapped into source, is when I really started to investigate and study and implement the spirit sciences of yoga and other modalities. And during that time is when I was commissioned by my spirit, by a higher power, to investigate what it's like to be able to have my sexual energy under control. And I went on a year of celibacy. Initially, it wasn't, something I planned for. I was phasing out of that relationship with my 13-year ex during that phase of my life. She had went back to the guy I had took her from. We're gonna keep it real. We keep it real on this page. And it was just extremely difficult for me to continue to deal with her, even though I was very much so codependent and attached to her energy. But I was starting to become sensitive to energy because of my practices. And certain things I just couldn't tolerate or stomach anymore. So there was the first maybe 3 to 4 months where I understood my sexual energy too much to continue to go back and forth with her, knowing the cycle I was going to invest myself right back into. And I also understood energy too much to just call randoms through, right? Just to satiate me through that grieving phase of being able to, make it through the detachment from an ex I was with for 13 years. And during that time, I got the information that when a man is able to withhold his seed for 12 lunar cycles, we are able to cultivate a level of energy that most women are able to access every single month when they have their cycle. A man has to go through 12 of those cycles while holding his seed to really expedite his process. I was told this by a spiritual practitioner that I was at a spiritual retreat for. And I took it upon myself. I was already 3, 4 months in. I had already got to the point where I wasn't really craving sex as much. It was becoming easier. But now I had the incentive. If I really want to level up, if I want to heal my vision, if I want to heal my kidney, if I want to find my purpose, at this point I wasn't teaching or anything like that. Maybe this is something I want to try out. And during that year of celibacy, I realized how to conquer my D, right? Eggplant emoji, insert eggplant emoji. I learned how to cultivate, recalibrate, and heal my sexual energy. And I was able to take control of the desires that had me in all these precarious situations with women and just in life at large. And had I not gone through that catharsis, I don't make my way to my wife. I don't make my way to even my son's mother to be able to have, even though I'm not with her no more, to be able to have my son come into this world. I'm not able to find my purpose. I'm not able to find my way to my abundance without going through this process. So I've talked about this process a lot, but I haven't really given a lot of the techniques that I actually used to begin to recalibrate that energy. So I want to do that with some of y'all today. And if you know a man, if you have a man, if you are a man that would like to get your sexual appetite under control, this these are a series of techniques, and I probably do more of these going forward. But these are some of the things that really help me to recalibrate the energy, because if you're a man that chooses to, I want to get my sexual appetite under control, there's going to be times when those urges and surges still come into your system. And it's one thing to mentally say, I'm not going to do these same habit patterns anymore. I'm not going to engage those things. But when that wave comes, no pun intended, it's really difficult to level up beyond those urges without having an ability of transmuting that energy, without knowing how to rewire it, recalibrate it, and then put it in a different direction. That's the piece a lot of men missing. And it's like, I have this desire to want to level up, but how do I do this? Nobody's really talking about this aspect of it. So I want to start to infuse some of this information into the conversation. That I had to die for a lot of this information. I want to make it more readily available to my brothers who have the desire to want to level up in this way, okay? So I have other videos. I would definitely advise that y'all check out my previous, I believe I have 4 videos already on my page. Those are precursors. Those are foundations. You can still rock out with me if you're here right now, but definitely go tap into those videos, because you're gonna need that foundation going forward to be able to recalibrate when the thoughts come, and then also know what to do when you notice the thoughts are taking you into some of those same habit patterns, some of those same unconscious programs. You're gonna need those skill sets more than you're gonna need this to be able to recalibrate your sexual energy. So definitely go back and watch all 4 of my videos, and this will become the energetic quotient, the energetic part that will accompany being able to get this under control as well, okay? So one of the first things I want to show you guys, this was vital for me. We're going to do 2 techniques, and then we'll end with a brief meditation. It's not going to take long. But the 2 main techniques starting out for me that really help to redirect my energy, because you have to understand on the level of the chakras. Our sacral chakra, this orange one right here. Sacral chakra is in your pelvic region, of course, near and around your sexual organs. This is the chakra that houses and processes the energies of desire, of course, sexual energy, sexual prowess, creativity, and emotions. So we have to be able to redirect that stream of energy that for most of us, when we haven't recalibrated our system, for most of us, that energy is flowing down and out of the system, right? It's like a stream that as soon as it's produced, it's not even processed for most of us. A lot of men don't process our emotions. So a lot of that processed emotion turns into sexual desire until we start to clean up the sacral chakra, right? And on top of that, being that we bleed out so much sexual energy, the average man, according to Cultivating Male Sexual Energy by Montauk Chia, free book, free PDF y'all could download right now or after you do this technique with me, that starts to break down how we can also recalibrate our energies. But in this book, it says the average man is going to ejaculate about 5,000 times in his life. Average. Some men may hear that number like, nah, it's way more for me. And it probably is. We're in 2024. Between sex and masturbation, the average male is going to ejaculate 5,000 times. Every single time we ejaculate, between 200 and 500 million spermicide is released. Any of those spermicide meets that egg, it has the atomic force, it has the energy to be able to assist and co-create a life. The same energy I needed to heal my vision, my kidney, find my purpose, access my tribe, I was bleeding out this energy through frivolous releases, right? So to a large degree, with all these frivolous releases, the energy that should be going up the chakra system, going to those higher levels, the divine aspect of yourself, they end up stalemating at the sacral chakra, not being able to ascend above that, and then going back down through the root chakra and out of the system. So when we wake up lethargic, when we wake up already with no energy, no motivation, no inspiration to level up, we don't have the energy at the end of the day to read the spiritual text, to do the meditation, to do the things we know that we need to access the higher levels of life. Often it's because we are bleeding out. That stream of energy is going down and out as opposed to up in to be able to be used and be food for the higher chakras. Solar plexus is that confidence, courage, your engine of energy is at the solar plexus chakra, like your internal sun. That's why it's yellow. So if you don't have that energy ascending up, it's not even reaching the solar plexus chakra to be funneled into the rest of the system to power you up, right? If it can't make it through the solar plexus, it's not going to go to that heart chakra energy. And that's where you'll find your inability as a man to cultivate real relationships outside of what's happening at the sacral level, at the sexual level. You won't be able to find or access those soulmate level connections that will really satiate you in a way where you don't feel like I need 30 women to be fulfilled, right? It won't make it to that throat chakra energy for you to be able to really release what you need to say, those truths you've been holding on to. Not being able to speak up for yourself, taking everybody's SHIT, including the women you deal with, a lot of that relationship residue is going to stall out at that throat chakra, right? And then ultimately you won't be able to make it to the third eye chakra to be able to process and deduce what's happening on a mental level, emotional level, physical level, to know how to guide yourself and navigate your life. All these things are compromised if that energy stalls out right here at the sacral. Okay, so these two techniques I'm gonna show you all today is gonna help you to pull that energy from bleeding down and out to being able to go back up the chakra system and in to the entire system, every kosha included. Kosha means levels, layers, or planes of existence. So we have Annamaya kosha, physical body, mental body. We have pranamaya kosha, right, which is your energy body. All this energy that's flowing through my system right now, the blood, the electricity, the atoms, the water, all these different energies are comprised in that pranamaya kosha. So this is what we're about to dive into to be able to give more room and onus to the sacral chakra to reverse the stream and send it back up. Okay, so I want you guys to sit in a seated position. You could either be on a chair, feet firmly on the ground. You can be in lotus posture, right, with your legs crossed. And we're going to use something called fire or dragon breath. If you are in the spiritual modalities, especially with yoga, you may have done this pranayama before. Like we said, pranamaya kosha is the energy level. Pranamaya is the exercise of regulating that energy through the breath, right? So there's a technique called dragon or fire breathing, very powerful technique that helps to ramp up the solar plexus chakra, to give it more energy to do what it needs to do. And in this particular case, we're asking the solar plexus chakra to send an APB to the sacral saying, I have enough energy to start to pull you up and direct you towards the higher chakras. And a dragon / fire breath is pretty much like this, right? You are going to be extending the belly out and sucking the belly back in, accompanied with the breath, like so. So when we breathe in, the belly extends out. When we exhale out, belly gets sucked back in. Right? So the fire breathing again, belly extends out to receive the breath. Belly contracts in to force the breath out, to exhale it out. Each round, we're going to do 25 of these fire / dragon breaths. At the end of the set, I'm going to have you guys breathe back in, right? You're going to do the 5 locks. So while you're holding that breath in after the 25 has been completed, so I'm going to act like I got to the end. And then we breathe in. Then we'll do the 5 locks while we're holding the breath. So 1 lock is to squeeze your perineum. Your perineum is pretty much what you're sitting on, the base of your spine. So if you were to squeeze the muscles that you would squeeze to stop from urinating in the front, if you were to squeeze the muscles you would squeeze to stop from defecating in the back, right in between these 2 points of pressure where you're squeezing at is your perineum. So we will be contracting all those muscles around the perineum, which I'm doing right now. Everything is being squeezed and cinched in at the perineum, right? That's the first lock. The second lock is to suck the belly in towards the spine as much as you can comfortably without straining yourself. Second lock. The third lock is to pull the chin down towards the chest. Third lock. The fourth lock is to attach the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth, that space at the roof of your mouth that's close to the teeth. So, right? Attaching that tongue to the roof of your mouth, close to the back of the teeth, while the mouth is closed. That's the fourth lock. And then the fifth lock, while your eyes will be closed, you will be directing your optical nerves towards the third eye. So the eyes are going to be closed, but you can still move your eyes while they're closed, obviously. You're going to direct both eyes to this center point, right in between the eyebrows at the third eye. So we'll do our 25 fire breaths. I'm going to have you, once you complete that, take another big breath in. You're going to hold that breath, and one by one, we're going to lock up and hold those locks while we hold the breath for a few seconds. Okay? So it's going to be like such. You can be in whatever mudra you want. Starting out, I would suggest just the basic mudra. And mudra means posture or asana of the hands. Every time you direct your fingers in different ways, energy flows different ways through the pranamaya kosha. So for this one, if you want, you can just have your hands up as to receive, being able to level up, okay? So both hands, palms faced towards the ceiling. Spine nice and straight, body nice and relaxed. And when I count us down from 3, we're going to engage our 25 fire breaths. Keep in mind, if you can't go at the pace I'm going, slow it down. That's why we got this video. You don't got to go at my exact same pace. Do what works for you. Just make sure you're maximizing the breaths. Allow your attention, allow your mind to center into what's happening in the body. A lot of times throughout the course of our day, our mind is in some other thought, in some other place. We want to keep our mind and our attention anchored in what's happening in our own body. Kind of plug the attention, the flashlight of your attention, as if it's plugging into the charging port of your own body. You just reconnect it to yourself. Now you're able to feel the sensations of arms, hands, temperature, skin, hair. You're able to feel yourself. Not like that. Okay? And now that we've begun to anchor into the body, we'll start our process in 3, 2, 1. Big inhale in through the nostrils, smooth, slow, and full. And then we start our process. And then once you got into 25, we breathe in. We hold the breath. Perineum is locked. Belly sucked in. Second lock. Chin slightly down towards the chest. Third lock. Tongue attached to the roof of your mouth. Fourth lock. Both eyes aimed at the third eye, right at the center point between the eyebrows. Hold all these locks while holding the breath. Don't cheat it. Hold the locks. 5, 4, 3, 2. Relax the system. Everything releases. All the locks release themselves. Eyes remain closed. And take a second to notice, or see if you can notice. And sometimes it won't be available to you your first time working with these techniques. We are so disconnected from our pranamaya kosha, we have to redevelop our ability to access that level. So even if you don't feel nothing, just stay in your body. But some of y'all may notice surges, spikes, waves, splashes of energy and sensation starting to flood into the system. Just allow the process. Don't mentalize this. Don't try to conceptualize this. Don't go into it for the end goal of fixing your sexual appetite even. Just be in the process. Just be in the body. We're going to do another round. This time, even more intentional, even bigger breaths, even firmer locks. In 3, 2, big breath in. Start your process. Pull it back in. Hold it. Lock up. Perineum. Stomach. Chin down. Tongue to the roof of the mouth. Optical nerves aimed at the center point between the eyebrows. Hold everything. Hold the breath. Hold it. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2. Release. Once again, just noticing. Noticing how energy is moving through the body. Not being distracted by the suggestions from your mind to mentally drift off to somewhere else. You're just being right here, firm in your choice to be in the body. Noticing the surges, the spikes, the waves, the sensations. And just give yourself about 30 seconds to a minute to just observe, allowing your attention and your ability to feel, your ability to process sensation, to really be investigative of what's happening in your own body. Let the outside world do what it needs to do for itself. It doesn't need you right now. You don't need it. In ways you may not be cognizant of just yet, the energy, the stream of energy is already being influenced to reverse its direction. Those energies are already becoming curious about these new energies that have begun to surface at the solar plexus and the heart chakra and the throat chakra and the third eye and the crown chakra. And now that we've opened these energies up, I would suggest starting out, you only do 2 rounds of fire breathing accompanied with the locks. As you get familiar with the process, you can increase a set. So instead of 2 sets of 25 and then the locks, you can go to 3 a day or 4 a day. But once you've cultivated this energy, the second half of this process is what we call spinal breath. Spinal breath is how we are going to start to drag and assist this energy from spilling down and out to now going up and in. Spinal breath is a very simple process where, again, we are directing the breath in and out through the nostrils physically. But we're going to imagine, visualize, sense, and feel that stream of breath coming from the perineum once again, but we don't need to do the lock. We're just imagining when we begin to inhale via the nostrils that the breath is spiking from the perineum and beginning to travel as we breathe in up the spinal column, along with the cerebrospinal fluid that's flowing through the center of your spinal cord. We're going to breathe that from the perineum up, filtrate it into the back of the brain, and then we release and we exhale that energy, that breath from the back of the brain, back of the head, and we're going to exhale it through the head, exiting through the third eye, spilling into the atmosphere. Inhaling back in, that breath, that energy spilling back through the third eye, filling into the head, into the back of the head. Exhaling that breath back down. Feeling it travel down each vertebrae like a liquid energy spilling towards the perineum and down and out through the perineum. We'll just do a few of these, hands still open at your knees, palms facing up in 3. Breath smooth, slow, and full, 2. And intentional, 1. Start to breathe up, feeling that breath, that energy spill up the spinal column. Spine remains straight into the back of the head. Exhaling through the center of the forehead into the atmosphere. Back in, back down, back up, back out, Back in, back down. Now continue this process, and as you continue to breathe, I want you to find your natural pace of rhythm with your breath. I was actually shortening my breath to try to make it quicker for you guys. Normally I breathe extremely long and extended and slow. I didn't start out like that. Initially, I couldn't breathe long at all. My breath capacity was extremely compromised due to smoking, not engaging the breath. So you'll find that this will open up over time, but even if you only comfortably breathe 3 to 4 seconds at a time without straining yourself, then that 3 seconds should find its way through the spine. 3 seconds should find its way through the third eye. 3 seconds should find its way back into the back of the head. 3 seconds should find its way back down the spine. If yours is 5, if yours is 10, find your natural pace of breath and continue to breathe in this pattern, in this direction, up the spinal column, out through the third eye, in through the third eye, back down to the spinal column, back down to the perineum. And you're gonna engage that part of the process for at least 5 minutes, okay? So when you pair the fire breath with the 5 locks, and you get at least 2 rounds of that in, 2 sets of that in, the energy is ripe. The atoms are starting to fire off. The synapses are starting to fire off in your brain, making you ready to be able to manipulate the flow of energy. And once you're at that point, you engage your spinal breath, and now you're guiding. Now you're creating grooves, patterns, pathways for those energies to redirect and start to be able to spill in and up into the system. And you'll find if you continue to do this consistently, it will jump off the yoga mat. It will jump out of your meditation, and you'll find yourself with more strength in moments when the desires and the surges come to do something with your sexual energy that won't serve you or that individual. You'll find yourself with more space and distance when the thought comes or the surge comes. You'll be able to actually analyze that thought. You'll have a bird's eye view from that desire to actually be able to make a decision with more than just your sexual energy, with more than just your sacral chakra influence. The other pieces of the system, the other chakras, the other energies start to come to the party, okay? So practice with this. I'm gonna give you guys more techniques going forward. Please, please share this video with a man you love, one of your brothers, one of your sons, your husband, whoever it is. These are the tools and techniques we often haven't had access to, especially in the brown and black community, to be able to draw a line in the sand. And when we are able to love more effectively, more purely in our own relationships, that energy trickles out to the rest of our family, to the rest of our communities at large, to the rest of our nation, to the rest of our people. So a lot of the fight that we try to do so on the political end of things and the marches and the picket signs, a lot of the healing needs to start in the bedroom. And this is one of the first steps I took towards that process. So as always, thank y'all for rocking with me at Citi Buddha. Share the videos and just let somebody know that we back. I know it's been a minute, a lot has happened, but I appreciate y'all patience. And as always, I bow to the divinity and all my reflections before me. Thank y'all for your attention.